I don't want to go to bed.
It's late. You should go to sleep, Emerican.
I'm not sleepy.
Come on, it's late.
Maybe I could sleep if
what?
If you give me a good night kiss.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, good night.
Wait. Chi-Chi wants a good night kiss.
Chi-Chi? Okay. Good night, Chi-Chi.
And Fifi wants a good night kiss too.
Good night, Fifi.
What about Baby?
Good night, baby.
And Twinkle.
Oh my, good night, Twinkle.
No, on the horn. You gotta kiss Twinkle on the horn. Okay.
Okay.
I'm still not sleepy though.
Oh, come on.
Maybe you could read me a Vietnamese fairy tale to help me get sleepy?
You sure you want to listen to a Vietnamese fairy tale?
Yeah, tell me a Vietnamese fairy tale.
What about Vietnamese Cinderella?
Oh boy, we're gonna listen to Vietnamese Cinderella. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, all right. Let's hear it.
Now I will tell you the Vietnamese version of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there were two half-sisters.
The older sister's name was Tam, and the younger sister's name was Cam.
Doesn't Cam mean orange in Vietnamese?
Orange is a Cam, but her name is Cam with the uptone, and it means the powder that you will get after you peel off the skin of the rice.
Oh, so her name means rice powder?
Yep.
What does Tam mean?
Tam means broken rice.
So Cinderella's name in Vietnamese is broken rice?
That's her name. Now shut up and let me start the story. Tam's mother died many years ago.
And a few years later, her father also passed away. One day, the stepmother gave each of the two sisters a basket and told them to go to the field to catch the shrimps.
Go to the field and catch shrimp?
Yes.
Why would there be shrimp in the field?
There's a water rice field, so there's a lot of small fishes and shrimps there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So she went fishing in the rice field. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Weird, but continue.
She promised, whichever one of you has a full basket of shrimps will be rewarded with a red bib.
A red bib?
Yes, a red bib.
Like a baby bib?
Actually, for hundreds of years, Vietnamese women, we all wear the red bib to cover our wow.
Okay, continue.
In the field, Tam worked hard, but Cam was busy playing, so she did not catch anything. Seeing that Tam caught a full basket, Cam told her, Sister, your head is muddy. You should go to the pond and wash it, or else mother would yell at you. Tam trusted her, so she went down to the pond and washed her hair. Cam took this opportunity to pour all the shrimp from the Tam's basket into her own, and she ran home. Tam finished washing her hair and came back to her basket, but the shrimp had disappeared, so she cried. Hearing Tam cry, the Buddha immediately appeared.
Buddha's in this story?
Yes, that's the fairy in Cinderella.
Like the fairy godmother?
Yes, now this fairy godfather.
Is
and
Buddha?
Is the Buddha.
Okay, this is getting weirder, but continue.
The Buddha immediately appeared and asked, Why do you cry? Tam told him everything and he said, It's alright, stop crying, my child. Try to look at the basket and see if there's anything left. Tam looked at the basket and said, There's only one goby left.
What the hell's a goby?
Goby is the small fish that live in the rice field along with the shrimps.
Okay, so there's a goby appeared to broken right. Okay, all right, I'm listening. Continue.
Bring the goby back to your house and raise it in your well. Each meal, if you eat 3 bowls of rice, just share 1 bowl with him. Remember to call him by saying this poem every time you feed him. Goby, goby, Come here, eat my golden rice. Don't eat the rotten rice of other people. If you don't call him exactly by this poem, he would never appear. After talking, Buddha disappeared. Tam followed Buddha's words. She raised the fish in her well. The goby was growing very fast. Seeing Tam brought a bowl of rice to the well every day, the stepmother became suspicious. She told Cam to hide in the bushes near the well and see what Tam was doing. She heard the poem and told everything to her mother. That night, the stepmother talked to Tam in a sweet voice. My sweetie, the village has begun to ban buffalo from some fields. Tomorrow you have to bring our buffalo to another field. If not, the villagers will take our buffalo. Obediently, the next morning, Tam brought the buffalo to eat far away. At home, the stepmother and Cam brought a bowl of rice to the well and called the goby out to eat like Tam did. Listening to the call, the goby appeared. They had prepared a fork to catch him. They caught the goby and took him home to cook.
They're cooking the goby?
Yes, they ate the fish.
They killed it?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Okay, continue.
Arriving in the afternoon, Tam took the buffalo back, and after finishing eating, she brought a bowl of rice to the well. Tam kept calling and calling, but nothing appeared, except for some drops of blood in the water. Knowing that something terrible happened to the goby, Tam burst into tears. Buddha appeared again and asked, Why do you cry? Tam told him everything and he said, Your goby, people have eaten it already. Please stop crying. Pick up his bones, put them in 4 yards, and bury them under the 4 legs of your bed. Tam went back to the house, looking for the goby's bones, but no matter how hard she tried, she could not find them. Suddenly, a chicken told her, Cluck, cluck, give me some rice. I will dig the bones.
A chicken was talking to her and said, I will dig up the bones of the dead fish that they ate.
The chicken just want to help her, you know.
Well, I guess that's nice of the chicken. Okay, continue.
Tam immediately gave him some rice. The chicken ran into the kitchen, and a moment later, he came back with the bones. Tam took the bones and did exactly what the Buddha told her to do. Shortly after, the king held a festival for several nights. The young men and women from the villages all went to join. The stepmother and her daughter also bought many beautiful clothes to go to the festival. Knowing that Tam wanted to go too, the stepmother threw her an angry glance. Then she took a basket of black beans and the basket of white beans, mixed them together and said, You can go to the festival only when you have finished sorting them back into 1 basket of white beans and 1 basket of black beans. After that, the stepmother and Cam chose beautiful clothes and went out. Tam burst into tears again. The Buddha appeared again and asked, Why do you cry? Tam pointed to the basket and said, My stepmother told me to sort the black beans out of the basket. I only can go to the festival when I'm finished. I could never make it in time. Don't cry anymore. Bring the basket to the yard. I can send the birds down to help you. But if the sparrow eats any, she will hit me when she returns home. Tell the sparrows this. Sparrows, please come sort for me. If you eat seeds, I will hit you. Then they won't eat your seeds. At the end of the conversation, a flock of sparrows flew down and picked up the beans from the basket. They whirled around in just a moment, then flew away without eating even 1 seed. But then Tam cried again. Buddha asked, Why do you cry? I am too wrecked. People won't let me go to the festival. Dig up the yards of bones that you buried. You will find everything you need for the festival. Tam went to her bed and dug up the yards. The first yard had new clothes. There were beautiful shoes in the second yard, and the third yard was a horse, and the fourth one was a saddle. Tam was so happy. She took a bath and then put on her new clothes. She rode the horse to the festival. Unfortunately, she dropped one of her shoes when passing by the bridge. She could not do anything to find it. When the king crossed the bridge,
his elephant suddenly plunged its ivory tusk into the ground and roared.
There's an elephant in this story?
Yep.
Like Chi-Chi?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Because our king rode elephant.
That's nice. Okay, continue. Listen, Chi-Chi, they're talking about you.
the king sent the soldiers into the water to see what was there, and they found a beautiful embroidered shoe. The king looked at the shoe for a long time and asked his soldiers to invite all the women to try it. He proclaimed that if the shoe fits any woman's foot, he will marry her.
Wait, he'll marry whoever fits the shoe?
Yes.
But he never even met Cinderella, Broken Rice. He never even met her.
Yes.
So how does he know he wants to marry her? Just because she's got a shoe that an elephant found?
Yes, because he trusted his own elephant.
Well, I guess that makes sense. I always trust you, Chi-Chi. Okay, continue.
The festival became even more exciting for the ladies. They squeezed together to try on the shoe, but no foot fit. Tam's stepmother and Cam also tried. When Cam saw Tam at the festival, she told her mom, "Mommy, my sister also wants to try." The stepmother pouted. "That shoe could never fit her foot. Who does she think she is?" But when Tam tried the shoe, it looked like it was made just for her. She even took out the second one from her handkerchief. They both looked exactly the same. The soldiers screamed in happiness. The king immediately sent his servants. Cam and her mother were pissed. Although living happily in the palace, Tam still did not forget the death anniversary of her father. She asked the king for permission to return home that day. The stepmother and Cam were already jealous of Tam. Now seeing her coming home, their jealousy rose again. Coming up with a scheme, the stepmother told them, "You used to climb the areca tree when you were a little girl. Can you climb up one now and pick some areca fruits for your dad?" Tam said yes, then climbed up the tree. When she almost reached the fruits, the stepmother and Cam started chopping the tree. Tam fell into the pond and drowned.
She drowned?
Yep.
She died?
Yes, she died.
Is that the end of the story? She just died? She just drowned?
Not yet.
What happened next?
Now, listen.
The stepmother and Cam came to meet the king and informed him the bad news. Now she wanted Cam to become his next wife as compensation. The king was very sad, but he could not say no.
That's awful. His wife just died. Why is he gonna marry her sister now?
Because it was one of our customs long time ago. When your wife died, the husband can marry her sister.
Well, do you have a sister?
No.
You better not die then.
After the death, Tam's soul turned into a beautiful bird. That bird flew to the king's window and sang a beautiful song. Its voice reminded the king of Tam's voice. He asked the bird, "Lovely golden bird, if you are my wife, fly into my sleeve." The golden bird flew back into the king's hand and snuggled into his sleeve. The king loved his bird so much that he even made a golden cage for it. From that day onwards, the king became engrossed with the bird, and he totally forgot Cam. Cam came home and told her mother about the bird. She told her to catch the bird and kill it. One day, the king had to go out. Cam immediately did what she was told. After killing that bird, she buried its feathers in the king's garden.
The bird died too?
Yeah, she killed the bird.
Wait, so Cinderella dies twice in this story?
Not only twice, she's gonna die more.
Oh my god, okay, continue.
From the spot where the feathers were buried, 2 peaches grew up. The king saw those trees, then asked the servant to put a hammock there. He came there after lunch every day. Cam came back home again and told her mother about the trees. She told her to chop the trees down, then make a loom out of it. The king came back to his palace that day and found out that the trees were chopped down. He asked Cam why, and she said, "The trees fell because of the storm. I made a wooden loom to weave clothes for you, my king." But whenever she used the loom, Cam always heard a voice coming from it. "Crick, crick, you took my husband. I will take your eyes."
I'll take your eyes?
Yes, she would take the eyeballs out of your face.
Oh my god, this is a story for children?
Yep.
Oh my god, this is awful. Okay, continue.
Cam panicked. She burned the loom, then threw the ashes far, far away into the jungle. From the ashes on the road grew up a big, big tree. In the season of fruits, the tree only had one fruit, but the fragrant smell spread everywhere. One day, an old lady from a nearby village walked to that tree and smelled the aroma. She looked up and saw the fruit on the highest branch. Then she took her bag out and said, "Oh, my lovely fruit, please fall into my bag. I will just smell, I won't eat you." The fruit fell right down into her bag after that. The old lady took it home and put it in the chamber. She smelled it every day. Whenever the old lady went to the market, Tam walked out of the fruit, then cleaned the house for her.
Tam walked out of the fruit?
Yes.
What do you mean she walked out of the fruit?
Now she lives in the fruit.
She's alive again?
Yes.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, continue.
One day, the old lady came home early and saw Tam. She was so happy. She ran into Tam and hugged her tight. From that day, Tam lived with the old lady. They took care of each other like mother and daughter. One day, the king went out of the palace. Seeing a pretty shop by the road, he came in. The old lady brought betel and areca to offer to the king. Seeing the betel leaves looking like the phoenix wings, the king remembered the betel of his wife was the same the day before.
Betel leaves?
Yes.
What's a betel leaf?
Betel leaf is kind of the nut, like a dog. We eat.
It's a drug?
Yes, some kind of.
So there's drugs in this version of Cinderella?
That is our traditional drug.
What kind of drug is it? Like heroin or
No,
cocaine?
it's just a leaf and a knot, and they work together to kind of to give you some chemical that can make you kind of happy and make your lips red, and then you will have a black teeth of it.
It turns your teeth black? So there's drugs in it. So it's like kind of like a Vietnamese cigarette, but you chew it, like chewing tobacco?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if Cinderella just lit up a cigarette halfway through?
You can think like that.
All right, I don't know if this story's for kids. Maybe you should close your ears, baby.
Now, do you want to listen the ending of the story or not?
Yeah, keep going.
The king remembered the betel of his wife was the same the day before and asked, "Who made these betels?" "My daughter made them," the old lady replied. "Where's your daughter? Please call her out here to meet me." Tam came out. The king immediately recognized his wife, even more beautiful than before. The king was so happy, he asked the old lady to tell him everything, then invited them back to the palace. They lived happily together forever.
They lived happily forever? Okay, so at least it has a happy ending.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you for reading the story to me. I guess all's well that ends well, even though that was kind of a scary story, but I'm glad it's all over and it had a happy ending.
Come on. Don't you want to know what happened to the stepmother and Cinderella's sister?
I don't know if I want to know or not, but I guess if there's more of the story, I want to hear it. So, okay, yeah, read the rest.
You sure you want to listen to this part?
Is it scary?
I don't know, but well, Vietnamese kids usually ask for this part.
Okay, read it.
Okay. Seeing Tam returned and being loved by the king like before, Cam's jealousy rose up again. One day, Cam asked her, Sister, how are you even more beautiful than ever?" Tam did not respond, only asked, "Would you like me to help you to become more beautiful?" Cam said yes immediately. Tam asked the soldiers to dig a deep hole, then boil a big pot of water. She asked Cam to go down into that hole, then fill the hole with the boiling water. Cam died. Tam made salted meat from Cam's dead body, then gave it to the stepmother, saying it was a gift from her daughter. The stepmother took out the meat to eat every meal and said it was delicious. One day, A crowd flew to the roof of the house and said, "Delicious, delicious, Mommy, it's daughter's meat. Are there any pieces left?" The stepmother was angry, cursing loudly and carrying a long stick to chase the ground. But when the food was almost finished, she looked at the jar and saw her daughter's skull on the bottom. She died from being too terrified.
Oh my
And
God, that's the end of the story? She boiled her stepsister with boiling water and then killed her and cooked her meat and then fed it to her mom, and then her mom died of being too scared? Ooh, can you really die from being too scared?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm scared I'm gonna have a nightmare now, and I'm gonna die from being too scared in my nightmare.
Good night, Emerican.
I don't like Vietnamese Cinderella. Oh, that story was terrible.
That's the Vietnamese story for kids.
Vietnamese kids must all be traumatized. Oh, what's the moral of that horrible story?
There are 2 lessons that you can study from this story.
What are they?
1, you have to fight for your own happiness.
Well, what's the second one?
The next one, don't with Vietnamese women.
Ooh.
Thank you for watching, everybody, and listening to Vietnamese Cinderella.
I'm scared.
Be sure to subscribe.
I'm gonna have a nightmare.
See you next Saturday. Bye bye.
Ooh.